This is Radicofani. This is the free campsite. Well, you may think that's not much of a campsite. I think it's great. I've got water, place to park, plenty of electricity from the sun. Well, maybe that's not supplied by the council, of course. And it's great for the locals to attract businesses, because people with camper vans, or motorhomes I should say, spend more money than normal non-camper van tourists. Oh, normal, that's the right word, but as a general rule. Let's have a look at the views it's offering as well. It's at the top of a hill, almost. And look at that wonderful views down the valley. It was a bit of a hike getting up here. Well, with the van, you know, it wasn't too bad. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit. It was rather windy, the road. It wouldn't be familiar with snow. But I mean, I've seen worse. When we were on the Sorrento Peninsula last week, that was far worse. And there was ice and snow, unusually. And this castle, I think it dates back to the 11th century. It was in private hands the first couple of hundred years or so. Then the papacy got it. Then it was in the hands of the Republic of Siena. It's a very good defensive position, and you can see it for kilometres around. I was in the valley below before I even took this road up here. You could see it very, very clearly. So it's a wonderful vantage point. And as I often say, though, can you imagine the work gone into building that? Can you imagine the work today? But hundreds of years ago, how difficult it would have been. And what if, instead of building castles and cathedrals, people had built roads and houses and infrastructure, you know, water, sewage, this type of thing. If they'd concentrated on that instead, how much better things would have been. Says the gate into the town.
Vuole venire dentro a fare foto?
Now, I've just met a lady in the street when I was filming, and she insisted that I come in here and photograph the nativity scene, which, I mean, it's now the 12th of January, of course, today, so it should really be taken up before long. And so there we have the local nativity, which they obviously spent quite a lot of time doing, and it looks pretty good. And so we can see it's becoming daylight over Bethlehem. There's the well is in action there, and somebody's getting water, and it's now day. And they've obviously spent a lot of time doing this from the church. Oh, there you have the stable, and the background scene. Obviously, there's not mountains in Bethlehem. At least there wasn't when I was in the area. But got to put something in the background, and why not a few mountains? And this is the local. This is the flag of the district. This is the district of the town, as I understand it. So, and what I was doing when I was caught was this. I was about to mention places like this where they've got tasting on. So they've got new oil. They've got pecorino. That's cheese made from sheep's milk. And they've got some wine, and so they want people to test it, and I don't think anybody's going to run off because they've left the wine here. And well, it's not very new, it's 2009, so it's 6 years old now. Well, it's January, so maybe just over 5. But I really like places like that. I like to do traditional things and what have you. And then you have the Christmas tree still up. And wonderful view of the castle. Roma. The first place on the right as I came in was a estate agent, luxury estate agent, as it said, written in English. So obviously it's clear who the potential market is. Piazza San Pietro, St. Paul's, and that is the church of Sant'Agata. If I remember rightly, I'll write down what Sant'Agata did in the comments below, and we'll have a look at the view here of the Orca Valley. And this is actually a UNESCO natural world patrimony site, or whatever they call it. Now it's going to come out a little bit dark, and the reason for that is obviously because the sun's out, which is great for me but not so good for you. Of course I could wait until the afternoon and film it then, but you know, today I really must do some work. Today we're about to launch the weekly newsletter on my site, Motorhome Full-Time. So I've got to make sure it's working right. So I've got to get back and do that. But I came up here first. Now look at that wonderful view. This is volcanic in origin. Indeed. Somewhere over there, I may be wrong on this, I stand to be corrected, but something like 10% of the used geothermal energy in the world is produced there. And they started doing that more than 100 years ago. I might be wrong on that, because those statistics sound a bit odd to me. But that's on the other side of the mountain. Last time the volcano erupted, it again, I might have this wrong, but it was, I think, about 80,000 years ago. So really it wasn't that long ago. This is Gino di Tacco. Again, if memory serves me correctly, he was the Italian Robin Hood. And below there's a quote from Dante. A bit difficult to read though. I mean, Dante's not easy to read, even when it's in black and white and a book in front of you. Well, he was writing a long time ago. But this is his area, the places he wrote about. Above all, it's a bit more to the north. And this is the city wall, which I'm walking along now. Although it's not higher than some places, but it still is. Take a bit to get over there. And below me there's a car park. Lots of people asking about parking. You see, this place I go to work and I leave my van, above all, motorhome. It's a bit different in the car, because cars you can normally need just about anywhere. So I'm trying to film places where motorhomes could potentially stand, whether or not it's a motorhome place or not, but that seems to me to be a pretty good place to leave your motorhome, but not as good as the place I've left mine in. And if you're interested in motorhomes, please do see my channel, www.motorhomefulltime.com, and it's also on Facebook. I want to go to the castle, and I see there's a sign to go down there, but I see there's one to go this way as well. I think I've confirmed that this isn't the way to the castle. However, it is the way to this attractive graveyard. It's quite new, although the church, which is behind me, looks to me as though it's late medieval. Let's have another look. What do you think? Maybe it isn't. Maybe it's just an imitation. Maybe if I walk through the forest, I'll get to the castle. This seems to be a route which other people have taken in the past. I've got to be honest, I was expecting this to be closed. It's a Monday. It's the second Monday in January. I'm the only one here. So why should it be open? I can see the lock from here. Although that is quite interesting information, which suggests I'm going to have to go back here, because the gate here does seem to be open. So these are some outstanding views, and today it's probably going to be a bit better than normal because of the position of the sun and it's such a clear day. So there we've got Pian Castenaio, and here is the Amiata mountain, which I mentioned earlier, and below it we've got the village of Abbadia San Salvatore. Let's bring the camera around a bit. And that village there in the centre now is Campiglia d'Orcia. And a bit further is Castiglione d'Orcia.